Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
All right, welcome to Bar Talk with Jay. One thing I want to say is brought to you by Dispose. That company got a brand new truck on the road for you. Let me put it out there that we got something nice that's gonna pick you up. So again, we changing the image, the brand, and everything else that we're about, but the customer service stays the same.
Okay.
Started with me, it's gonna be with me. Come see me.
Right?
That's right, at Dispose. Now, I gotta talk about that person next to me. He's been sitting with me for a minute and a half. Y'all need to give it up to my man, Craftmatic. How you doing, Big Baby?
Man, I'm good tonight. I'm back on my Fabuloso program. Yeah, man, you know, I've been through the fire over the last 30 or 40 days. And,
What kind of fire? What you
all
doing?
kind of fires, man.
I got you,
know what I'm
baby.
saying?
What I got you, man? Like Fireman Bill with a safety tip.
I know, man. So I've been fighting through a few things, but I'm back now. My mindset's back, so to speak, and driving forward, man. It's all about moving forward, trying to make some big things happen. So I'm doing well, bro. How are you tonight, man?
Man, I'm doing excellent. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, we all go through some things, but guess what? I'm excited because, hey, every day is a challenge. Let's face it.
Yes, it is.
So when you start facing it, man, the challenges start changing and life opens up in a new way. So again, new mindset.
Absolutely.
Gotta refresh it.
Yeah, man. Let's and that's what we're here to do is refresh the mind, right? Let's talk about who we are. This is Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay, and we are here to inspire. And of course, we do that through dialogue, helping people become their greatest possibility. And the only way that you become your greatest is you got to change you. See, you're not going to change the world. You got to change you first. And that's what this show is about, an opportunity for you to see yourselves in the mirror of our conversation, our dialogue, our experiences, and see what you would do, what you should do. Make some decisions as we go through these dialogues. These are very unique dialogue, grown folk dialogue, as I like to call it. And I had a friend recently mention that it was just like a conversation with old friends. And that's what we are, indeed, friend. We might not know you, know where you are, but I promise you, we all about you, we all about your struggle, and love is what we represent here. Jay and I just came together with this vision in an effort to just be leaders in our own communities. We're not trying to be, the Dr. Kings and the presidents of the world. We just want to be leaders right here in Atlanta and try to move people toward their best. Seem like people aren't getting inspired nowadays. Nobody's pouring in, right? There should be one leader designed to do nothing but pour in humanity, and he would start enforcing that people would start taking classes, right? Because they got to change their mind. Get them in a classroom, they'll change their mind, and then they'll do something different. But they're not going to do it sitting in their living rooms, not in most cases. But we hope this show is therapeutic enough to get you through a few of your struggles. So we always start the night out with prayer. And I don't know, would you like to do prayer tonight, Jay?
Man, you had it earlier. Bar Talk with Jay, Cash App.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Yeah, man, let's just close our eyes and pray to the Heavenly Father above. We thank you for this night. We thank you for the unity that comes together in this room. We thank you for all the people who are joining us by way of live video or even those who may be watching it in the distant future. We ask, Father, that you would bring a rhema word to us tonight, some greater understanding, some greater wisdom, and allow that wisdom and understanding to create life abundantly for us. And we just thank you for being here tonight. We ask that you would lead this program. May it be fun and interesting to all who watch. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen, amen.
Amen.
Man, that make you want to be in the house. I mean, y'all be right here just trying to put hands on craft. Craft.
Right.
Put hands on.
Yeah.
So anointing. Get it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on with last week's topic, and it was a fantastic show. I'm telling you, it was a good. I went back and listened to it. There was a lot of good stuff in that show, man. We had the good, what we called him, what we called B, like Dr. B.
Dr. B.
Yeah, we had Dr. B in the house, and man, he put it down, just giving us some understanding about the subject. So here's what we spoke about. If you're a man in a physically abusive relationship, would you ask your homeboys for help to get out.
Yeah, a lot of people say, yeah, you can ask if you want to and get cut with them. Yeah, some women didn't like that, bro. They didn't like it, but what we was trying to do is bring more awareness to domestic violence, not just from a man point of view. It's actually women are getting just as violent.
Yes.
And it's been that way. It's nothing new, but it's not being talked about.
It's not been
So
talked
one of the
about.
things we want to do is talk about it. Then we had all the mass shootings that occurred recently down
Yes.
in Texas and right up there in Ohio. Now, when you add all of them together, one of the things we talked about first, a woman would say to a man, if you hit a woman, you ain't no man.
Right.
I say the same thing. A woman should be hitting no man.
Right.
So this go hand in hand. So if you keep your hands to yourself, a lot of this stuff will stop. You choose to because you anger and then you conflict violence. That's what you've been taught.
Right.
You've been beaten. Everybody knows some of the things that happened through slavery and somehow how you've been raised.
Mm-hmm.
These things are happening all the time.
Yes.
But we need to talk about them because, again, it doesn't make it right.
Yeah, we need to talk about them, even in a much deeper way than we did. I think we did the subject justice, but there's something that needs to be, here's an equal opposite scenario that I always think about. The people who suffered from the Holocaust, okay? They suffered dearly.
Right.
And there were extreme numbers of healing mechanisms that were put into play to help those people overcome the tragedies that they suffered. There were many programs put into place to help these people out of it. The American slaves have not been healed, right? There's no impartation. You know what I'm saying? There's no impartation going on to develop these people. And man, I got so many things on my mind. I'm losing my whole train of thought. Let me just
deportation.
I'm really going back to what Dr. Beasley said. Dr. Beasley said all of this hitting and fighting and all of this this abusive stuff comes from our history. Right. It comes from something that hasn't been healed. It comes from something that we haven't dealt with as a people. And it's in our spirits, you know what I mean? Fight is in the black man's spirit, and maybe that's just because it's not osmosis, it's where we've come from. And we've had to learn life by kicking and fighting, and that's who we have become, and it made us much more stronger. But sometimes that strength gets out of hand when you get into very emotional or confrontational situations. People don't know how to conduct themselves. People don't know how to hold their own anger back. They don't know how to keep them hands to themselves because the temperament overcomes them, right? And we call that EQ. It's called EQ, emotional intelligence, right? You have EQ, which is emotional intelligence, IQ, which is your intelligence, and then of course we have SQ, which is your spiritual intelligence. So you got EQ is a third or more of your entire lifestyle, right? Knowing how you feel about a situation, and that's what we really wanted to get to, which we didn't cover a great deal, but it's about knowing when you get angry. If you recognize your own emotion, then you'll be able to stop yourself, or you'll be able to get yourself out of the situation, right? But what happens is it overcomes us, and we don't know we're getting mad. Next thing you know, we're flying off the wall, right? So first of all, it was a great show. One of the main points that come out of the show was keep your hands to yourself. Don't put your hands on nobody for no reason at all, okay? And that'll solve the whole problem. That'll be the answer to the whole. That ends all domestic violence wars. Keep your hands to yourself.
Well, it's one more. You can verbally abuse a person too.
Yes, verbal abuse. Yeah, attacking words, calling people out of their name.
Hands up.
Yeah. Screaming at people doesn't help them be calm.
Right in your mood.
Yeah. So it was one of those shows. Obviously, nobody agreed. Nobody said they would tell their homeboys that they was going through that.
I have an intervention that,
Yeah.
I won't let you go all the way down. I mean, I've seen you slipping and making bad decisions. I can only just bring it to your attention. Normally get the rest of my boys together because it's collaboration.
Right.
Usually on one-on-one, it's like you want to shoot the messenger. So you get all your boys together, and that way you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
That way he can bounce different things off a person that's just not one opinion.
Absolutely.
And it helps because believe me, you're going to fire back.
Right.
Number one thing is that's another time that you're going to fight. You're up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And people want change out of you and you don't see change in you, you're gonna fight. I'm sorry. That's just typical. But I want you to stop fighting and start understanding. It's not asking for the fight, it's asking for the understanding.
Absolutely.
But we can deliver this and get moving in the right direction.
Right.
Opposition comes when you least want it. And that's what that resistance is all about. So again,
Absolutely.
I understand that one right there, that's deep.
You know, learning to deal with that resistance is part of the nature of this subject. You know, under emotional intelligence, and the other one I didn't say was intellectual intelligence, but under EQ, that there's 20 different points that's measured, and one of the points is resilience. Resilience is your ability to bounce back from a bad situation, the ability to bounce back from a challenging task or something of that nature. So you know, we have to strengthen our ability to be resilient. You know, sometimes the argument and troubles come about because you didn't deal with the other shit that was going on, right? And you ain't bounced back from the other shit, and so you still frustrated and upset about that, and now you at home with somebody who doesn't agree with you or see your way, etc., and you start arguing, and it gets out of hand, right? So keep your hands to yourself. It was a fabulous show. If you're a man in a physically abusive relationship, would you ask your homeboys for help to get out?
I'm gonna do Kevin Hart. I'm gonna be behind the machine. Somebody gotta go and tell him.
Right. Right.
I'm just saying.
So we'd love for you folks to check it out. It was a great show. Just so much good stuff, good quality information that comes out on the subject. And I found myself, when I went back and listened to the show, I found myself checking myself. Like, whoa, like crap. You know, yeah, you don't get nothing out to upset you. Nothing from the outside upsets you. And just hearing some of the words that we shared during the show just was therapeutic. You know, it really gives you an opportunity to see yourself and to change yourself from within. The only way you can change yourself is from within. You can never change your behavior. You can never change an attitude until you start inside, until you start with your own thinking and your own belief system, your own resolve. Those are the things that make your life change. And so check out the show, folks. We're all over the internet.
Keep going.
The top ones: Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, iTunes.
Yeah, I like that. Black Planet.
Spotify. Yeah, we're all over Spotify.
POF.
We're all over Google
Beat me.
Podcasts. Google Podcasts has us in order. You can see all the shows. What you said?
Tinder. Yeah. I would say back pages, but Lord knows we gotta know about back pages.
Whoops. You don't want to go to back page.
Yeah, you got a lot of free stuff going over there.
Boy, back
besides that,
was
we there.
something else, wasn't it?
What?
That back page kind of changed the game.
Man,
you
it
know?
did. Before back page, it was full industrial, my man.
Yeah.
I'm on the show snitching. That's
You on
on
the show
ATL. We on the show snitching. We don't do that over here, my man.
Yeah.
That's
So check out the show, folks, and let's move on to our quote for the week.
What we got?
Very interesting quote. We want to thank Barbara, who couldn't be with us again tonight. And Barbara says it just like this: no one is ever that busy. If a person really cares for you, no matter how much they have going on in their life, that person will make time out of their busy schedule for you, because they're giving you a portion of their life. If they wanted to be around, they wouldn't make excuses.
That's like somebody's girlfriend said.
That's exactly what I thought.
You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I thought.
This is a scripture out of a woman book.
Listen,
I heard this line so many damn times.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to be tired. You're like, I work here.
That's exactly
I
right.
know.
That's
I got a
exactly
job.
what I thought.
I was broken sitting at home. I can see it. You gotta make time around the other time.
Here's a conversation I've had before, right? You know, I have a friendly conversation, a friendly dialogue, a friendly relationship with this young lady. And so she texts me.
Okay.
7, 8 o'clock, you know, 9 o'clock. And so, you know, I didn't answer. You know what I mean? I had to keep moving. I had some things going on.
Perfect,
Right?
though, crap.
Right?
You already know that in the booty call.
I know, but I'm usually committed by 6 o'clock, you know, to my evening. So I you know, sometimes, you know.
Damn, what kind of schedule?
So,
You do crap.
So it works kind of like that. You know?
Okay, play.
So I didn't text her back, and she sent me a few more messages, and each one of them got a little more derogatory. And so I'm starting to ask myself the question, who she thinks she in control of?
Everybody start cussing.
Right? Now, I care deeply for you, but it don't mean that I got time to do whatever you might need me to do, right? Think about it this way. The world is in your back pocket.
Okay.
And what if everybody in the world decided to call you in one day?
I'll pass gas. Go spell it.
They don't own you, they don't control you, they can't tell you when to respond, how to respond. Well, you could have did this and you should have did that. Well, how long does it take to write a text message? I'm like, stop it, right? I was that busy, and don't get it twisted, right?
Say it again.
But you're never too busy to take care of your kids. You know, don't we got a lot of folk who
we're a family show, so I ain't gonna say that. They know my damn nerves too.
You're never too busy to take care of your husband, right?
I ain't got no other.
Whatever those needs might be in your wife, you're never too busy to take care of your wife. You should never be too busy. Because no matter how busy your schedule are, you will fit. The people who are on the inner circle, we have to make time for those people.
They don't want to make me work so hard.
Yeah, well listen, they do. They do require a lot.
Exactly.
They do
so
have a lot of
make
wants.
a lot. So how you gonna want time and I gotta take time to make money?
They want time and money.
They want a whole lot.
Yeah, they want a whole lot, but and it'll be your responsibility to give it to them.
See what I'm talking about?
You know.
Alright, this became just mine. I thought it was us. This is a week thing.
I know.
You need to give her time.
I know.
Want my time. What about your time?
Here's a familiar subject on it, and then we'll move on. But just think about I have kids who are on the other side of the country.
Right.
And I love my kids dearly, as all parents do. And I'm calling them, and and sometimes I get a call back, or sometimes I don't readily get a call back, and I'm calling them, and sometimes I know they're busy, I know their schedule, they live, you know what I'm saying, we've all been there, but sometimes I get tired of calling, right? And so I just decided to say, well, maybe Pops ought to sit back on the sideline for a minute and see what happened. And certainly they call every time, but we get in a pattern of thinking that we're the only ones who can reach out. Sometimes other people need to reach out to us too, and don't be so busy that you can't call and see how I'm doing. I know in my life, I've kind of been a victim of circumstance, we'll say, because I never really have any problems. I have a good life, and everybody who knows me knows it. So they don't check on me. I don't hear from people for years. They be like, "Oh, crap, he all right." You know what I'm saying? If I miss calling him today, it ain't no big deal, right? But I need to hear from you too, because I love you and I think about you often. I don't want to be the only one crafting an email because I ain't talked to you in 30 days. But a very interesting subject, because people who you care for, are you making time for them? I think that's what the question begs, right? Are you really setting aside quality time for the people who you love? And if you're not, I would ask you to take a survey of what you're spending that time on.
All these other stuff.
Right. So it sounds like your priorities have been set. And I wonder if
my priorities is not in order.
Yeah.
But hey.
Yeah. And what should the people do who recognize that your priorities are not in order? Should they just
try to show you a way that you can learn to realign?
I mean, what you're basically saying, I gotta shake them up. I don't want to have to do all that.
You gotta touch me now.
Not shake them up like that, but I'm talking about I need to mash on. Hey man, why you ain't call me?
You can do a little mash, or you can just do a little presentation. My whole thing is there's certain things I want somebody to see. I can try to get it where they can align it, where they can see it, and then they'll want to.
Yeah.
You call it, it's a mental thing, but my whole thing is I'm trying to put in a position where I don't have to be stagnant either. And I don't really feel like I need to come down. I feel like if I'm going up, you can come up with me. We can go up together. That going back and going down is getting backwards, and it's getting out of time. It's time for us just to keep moving forward and learn to get people to move that direction as well. That way they got their steady growth, and it's not just off of you. And that's one of the things that I like to say right now. Everybody want to pull somebody. I got a person in the audience. He told me a long time, I don't like to get pulled.
I don't like to get pulled.
Yeah, Buddha don't like to get pulled.
Yeah.
You pull Buddha, Buddha will probably just pass out on you. You're going to keep on pulling. But if you can push him, he can steer his own way.
Right.
His whole thing, he might need a little help, but I can steer myself. I'm my own captain of my own ship.
Yeah.
You can help me by pushing, not pulling.
Yeah.
Because when
And
you
listen,
start pulling, you take away the controls
that
of where
is-
I'm going.
That is a lesson in leadership, right? Pushing or pulling. You got to know who your audience is, and you got to know how to influence them, right? And if you're saying the wrong things to a person who needs something else, you're missing them altogether, and you're not leading them at all. So I like that. I like that. That's fantastic, man. Listen, the subject for tonight. I'm gonna move. I'll move past craft segment. It's kind of deep right now, so let's go ahead and cover the subject for tonight, the topic for tonight, and then we'll take our first break, and we're gonna come back with a mean show tonight. Tonight's topic is why do we reserve a place in our hearts for people who don't make an effort to stay,
Ooh.
for people who don't make an effort to try, for people who just seem to keep on disappointing
Man, who
us.
be coming up with this stuff?
I don't know, man.
Y'all got something going on, some bitterness. And y'all need to go ahead and hit the back pages and let me know. Hit my DM. Y'all come with some deep stuff.
That's deep. That's deep.
That's personal.
But
That's
listen,
really
see,
deep and
you know,
personal.
the whole conversation ultimately is about it's about caring for someone beyond their faults.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But that
It really
person
is
that
a-
got the faults, they
really-
seeing their faults.
It's a Christ-like love that we got to talk about tonight, and sometimes that's hard to get to. We got to get ourselves out of the way in order to get there. But we got a fabulous show lined up for you. We're gonna go ahead and pay the bills, so to speak. And so we got some great music lined up. Please, I hope you enjoy it. We're gonna be right back. We got Jamal on tonight. We got the good Reverend Dr. Jeffrey, who always bring the heat.
Ooh, fire.
And of course, Jay and I go hard in the paint second half of the show. We're glad you're with us tonight, and we hope you stay with us. Enjoy the music, get up and dance, and we'll see you right back after this break.
That's our bartender.
Okay?
How you doing? Yeah, talk radio say something about this. Does not have a bartender back there on call. But that's for all the special guests that comes in the house.
Yeah, I like that, but I'm of the notion that you serve yourself. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
yeah, but
Fix your own
I got
troubles.
calluses, so I gotta get a little help. So we got a bartender in the house, so we brought more than one
Nice.
to make sure we keep it fresh.
Yeah. Y'all welcome Inertia in the house.
Right.
Inertia in the house.
Well, that ain't no regular name right there.
No, that ain't no regular name. That's a great name. Though,
What?
You know? Yeah, that's a movement name, a forward movement name.
Forward.
Right?
That's what we do. We make things move up in here.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Hold on, y'all.
And do we got him on?
Okay. So now we're gonna have to introduce this guy. This one that's coming up next. We don't even know how his day was, but we're about to find out. One of the days I can tell you somebody that look like him that's not him is the one he always say. We're gonna find out if it's him tonight. Jamal, how you doing, big baby?
Man, what's happening, fellas? What's happening, crowd?
What's-
What's happening, phone?
What's good?
What's
What's
happening?
good? Big time.
Trying to do it,
You know,
y'all.
we always needed a geographical report. Where are you tonight, my friend?
Tonight I'm in Philly.
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 That's beautiful. That's beautiful. We love Philly. Last time I was in Philly, boy, I had a ball.
Remember what you doing in Philly, Craig?
What? Came home in the daylight, man, last time I was in Philly.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a good time. Hey, we know that you always bring the heat, man. Anything in particular on your mind tonight?
Well, for y'all cornballs, just know my pimping is solidified. I had a sweetheart coming to town on for the weekend.
Mhm.
I did my thing. You know what I'm saying? She went back to where she needed to go. Hey, respect the pimping, man.
Sound like disrespect, you nasty. Jamal, you just so nasty.
Man, okay.
You
So
put it down on me.
you put it down, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen, I got some of these new vitamin pills. I ain't gonna listen. Look, these pills is, yeah, they there.
Now let me ask, I've been waiting for a punchline on the subject, right? I think you just hit the mark, right? So
What is that?
these pills, what is
No, like, okay, the
Tell us
pills
about
like
that.
this. One of somebody I'm real close with sent me some healthy nutritional stuff. So with lotion, pain cream, and then it said men's health supplement.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, cool. It's just a multivitamin, whatever.
Right.
The next day I was able to go to the gym. I put up an extra 25 on the weight, you know what I'm saying, each plate. So I was like, all right, got a little extra kick to it. So when Shorty came through, she legit looked at me and was like, yo, what the hell did you take? And I was like, I ain't taking that. Then I remember I took the little vitamin thing. And
Right.
listen,
Yes.
with my breathing techniques and that thing in that pill,
Yes.
hey, it was well worth the hotel.
Man,
Hey.
let me tell you what, that pill is changing the world. It is changing the world. It's causing, listen, it's causing 70-year-old men to have children. I'm telling you, it's opening a lot of doors that otherwise would have been closed. And I personally believe that the human male would be naturally, have a perfect erectile function if he was able to eat without all these chemicals and supplements, all these things. If we could just eat naturally, I believe we would have our testosterone up strong for all of our lives. But there's a lot of things that eat away at a man's, a man's, strength in that way. All right. There's a lot of things, from mind things, a lot of things that take a man's mind and he can't even get himself right, because your mind got to be right for anything to be right. So we applaud what the blue pill has brought to the world.
Oh no!
These are real vitamins.
No.
Brother did not pop no blue pill.
Yeah,
no.
listen, I understand.
Never needed like that.
I understand. But listen, I understand.
I thought it was a multivitamin,
And listen.
like the thing that put like 7,000 calories in the pill.
Right.
I thought it was one of those.
Right.
Surprise!
Yeah.
Had a side effect.
We can tell you.
No, that was the side effect.
Okay,
Nah,
yeah.
bruh.
Okay.
And it
No,
is.
no disrespect to
Okay,
the blue pill.
so
Yeah,
listen,
brother didn't eat
so
the blue
listen,
pill. It was-
so
it
listen.
was
Wait,
surprise
You
capsule.
got the lesser version of a blue pill, right? You got the healthy, natural version. And listen, there are some things that I have learned that are health-wise that do a lot for male, performance.
Gene.
And just natural things that do a lot for male performance.
Yeah.
Something you got to focus on if you're having problems in that area.
Make it simple.
I think I'm kind of fortunate based on what I hear. So I don't really have no issues like that, and I like to, I like to elongate the process. You know what I'm saying?
Crab like to stay in just way past bedtime. Crab don't know when to come home.
Nighttime is made for love making, right?
Not all night, Crab. I mean, Crab might be in a body bag. He'll kill their whole body.
I mean, I don't mean no harm.
Man, you
I'm
mean
just
harm,
trying to
bro.
bring love to the
You know what I
world.
mean? When you said the gravy?
So listen,
That's on the crab.
I
That's on
know.
bit the dust.
I know that you were talking about health products. I happen to be talking about blue pill. I think that because they listen. Every convenience store is selling out. They selling out, and so we know a lot of people are taking it. And I may have to one day, and I'll resolve to that when it's time. But until then, I'm gonna preserve.
It's good when she look at you with a psychotic look backwards, like, who the hell are you? Like, when she look at you like, nigga, where you come from? That's when you know, hey, I endorse this product.
Oh yeah. Listen.
You know they coming out with a female Viagra?
I heard it.
Really?
I heard it.
And what would that do? Give her sex drive?
Yeah.
Female Viagra turn her cougar into a full-on lioness attack. You know what I'm saying? It just bring it out of her.
But listen, that
And they hit it.
happens naturally. You can't. No, they can't do that. They can't bring that to the world. Women would take over the world with that kind of shit. We gotta.
It kind
Hey,
of scares me
listen.
to say, "No, like, woman, you gonna give me that right now?" Okay,
Yeah.
baby, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what it is. Hey, well, what's the topic for tonight, though?
Hey, before I give you the topic, I just want to put an announcement out. Everybody needs to write their congressmen
Oh, Lord.
and their senators and tell them do not put that female Viagra product on the market because it could
It's gonna
destroy
change the world. We're going to take over the world.
Mark my word, Crab Mac told you.
You know, women already territorial, and if she get the good, Oh, she not sharing? Oh, that's gonna be a brutal onslaught.
No, bro,
Let's
you
try to
don't
touch
see the vision. We talking about women who walk around with testosterone like men, going hard in the paint,
No,
looking for 2, 3, 4 sessions a day.
Estrogen and hormonal levels to increase their sexual desire.
Yes, we don't want that. Their sexual desire will be derived from some mean touching by some fella, right?
Grabbing.
Yeah, now he'll set it off. That's all the push button that we need. We don't need no more push button in women. You think you got problems with your lady now?
Yeah.
She get a hold of some of that.
Oh.
Boy, you got some real problems on your
You were
hands.
trying to turn that remote off. Turn it off.
And you're not going to be able to, boy. You're not going to be able to. That's good. That's a good subject, man. That's a good subject. Okay, quickly. Wilson, we got probably less than 5 minutes, man. Let's let you attack the subject at hand. The question goes like this. Why do we reserve a place in our hearts for people who don't make an effort to stay? For people who don't make an effort to try?
Ah, man, that's getting all personal. I just might need a shot.
I said that earlier.
Yeah.
Give me that question one more time. I want to give you the
Yeah,
problem.
absolutely. Because it's one of those questions you got to dig deep in your soul for, I think. Why do we reserve a place in our hearts for people who don't make an effort to try?
I would say we reserve a place in our hearts because that's the place in our heart that we want touched the most. And for the people that don't deserve it, I believe that's because we want the idea of it more than the person that we're with.
Nice.
That was
awesome.
smooth.
That was awesome.
Woo.
That was awesome. And so,
I'm trying to make something with somebody, even if they don't deserve it. I'm trying to make it like this anyway because this is what I really want above all else. And I believe that I can want it bad enough for the both of us.
and listen to this.
This is this type of love that I'm really looking for.
Yeah.
You might not have it to give yet, but
Yeah.
I think I can get it. And the bad part about it is like trying to fill another ending pit. Like,
Yeah, man. And listen.
And thirst never gonna close that hole. It's gonna be deep, given, regardless.
Yeah. So watch this. Watch this. Let me just chime in for a second here, man. That this is so
That
important.
hole is gonna be deep, and given, regardless.
Yeah. So watch this. Watch this. Let me just chime in for a second here, man. That this is so
That hole
important.
is gonna be deep, and given, regardless.
Yeah. So watch this. Watch this. Let me. Okay. Are we back? See. Where you at?
We got a double feed. Hold on 1 second. We got a double feed.
Ain't number devil. Ain't number devil.
always
Trying to
something.
make noise, right? So let me chime in while I can. We apologize for the technical difficulties, folks. Please bear with us. He was talking about that we basically hold a place in our heart for someone dear, right? And the person who we're with, there's always, and this is the point I wanted to make, there seems to always be a person that we're trying to put into that little space in our hearts, right? And most of them are not a good fit.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
So we spend a great deal of our lives trying to fill our gap that probably only a few will fill. And boy, that's got to be hard work in life.
I say it like this. I can't speak for everybody else, but I don't want to cast well. I tell you know what it is on my that's just personal. But if you really talk to me, there's certain females you just know that's kind of the standard of what I'm looking for long term.
Okay.
Like the stereotype for me is I like the light skinned girls with the pretty hair and the big butts. That's what the stereotype girls I smash. But the woman that I date is a different standard. And I held her to such esteem because she meant so much to me at a point where the relationship and the love that was shared between me and her, it was just iconic. It's at a standpoint in my life.
Okay.
So any woman after that, this is the standard of, well, I can even get to even loving you. You just have to know this is the type of love I come with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the next person that you date, you find yourself trying to make something with a person, trying to recreate that magic, trying to find that spark again because there was no love like this love, and you just keep looking and you're trying to make something with a person that's just not able to give it, that's not able to equate to that substantial setting in your life that you're looking for.
Man, that is that should be a show in and of itself. Like we could spend a lot of time on that. Yeah, you're exactly right on point, man. And there's so many factors that go into putting a relationship together. You know, and a lot of it is chance and timing and all that other good stuff. You know.
Yeah, they want it out.
Yeah. Listen, I love the way you brought the subject. I think we're gonna spend a great deal of time on that the second half of the show. As we part, any words for us, my friend?
Hey man, come on man, listen. Did you some of these vitamins, these health vitamins really come in handy, just giving you like that. Oh, and by the way, in regards to that special woman that you're trying to love, it's okay to have the standard that you set, but you can't compare everything that she do to what the next one do, because you ain't gonna never progress. That's how you become better, and that's how you never become better at the situation.
Yeah, I like that, but never let your standard be set by someone below your feet.
So,
you know what I mean? If you elevate, you just elevate.
There's
You
in
know?
my past, and yes, I know, but I'm looking forward to bringing to the next woman with that.
Right.
I have to accept the nuances of a new female and what they have to offer.
Absolutely.
What I know I'm willing to give out. Because
Absolutely.
as much as you want to say what you bring to the table, you need to be man enough to set the table, to set the house for the table. And
Yes.
that's emotionally, financially, or whatever the case may be.
Yes.
You need to be clear from your past in order to move on to something better.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And one of the first things I think about, I know we got to go. One of the first things I think about is where you have a wife, a husband and a wife, and they get a divorce, and the wife goes on to her new life, and she can't quite live the life that she used to live, right? But the guy who shows up steadily, who trying to holler at her, you know what I'm saying? Even though he don't make the same bread, he don't drive the same cars, he can still be a good dude. You know, and you have to, in re-engineering yourself, sometimes you got to re-engineer your understanding of what is right for you, right? Or maybe what is right for you right now. I think that's an important conversation we could all have with ourselves. But I love your commentary, bro. We appreciate you being here with us, man, and we're going to look forward to talking with you next week.
Alright, man, y'all hold it down. Hey, y'all cornballs, step y'all game up.
There it is. There it is.
No supplements. It works. You can live it.
Hey, we got a seller of supplements,
Yeah.
and supplements can do a great deal for you, man. I'm telling you.
Make you happy. Make you happy.
I've seen them, I've felt them work, and they are phenomenal, and they're
And
healthy,
she look
right?
at you with
They are
crazy
absolutely
look.
healthy.
You just
So-
gotta have that arrogant smile with like, yeah.
Yeah. So listen, folks, we're gonna take our next break. We want you to stay tuned. We got more Bar Talk with Jay. We're coming back with the good Reverend Dr. Jeffrey, and we always love what he has to say. So y'all be with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back.
Bar Talk with Jay.
That's right. We getting back into it right now. Yes, coming back from break. I'm telling you, we was having such fun. One of the things I want to make sure you don't know about this.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Bar Talk with Jay.
That's right. That's right. Oh, we getting back into it right now. Yes, coming back from break. I'm telling you, we was having such fun. One of the things I want to make sure you don't know about this.
I'm back.
Okay, well, I get to hear myself during the show. That's different.
That's interesting, right?
I did that.
I think I sounded all right. What little bit I said right there.
Yeah, it was fine. It was
So,
fine.
we are back with Bar Talk with Jay, and we want to thank the folks who are with us live tonight. We know we have several platforms that are watching live, and we want to thank you folks for being with us. This is a show for inspiration, and we hope you feel the magic, and just understand Jay and I's vision. We're just here to talk positive about life and hopefully you'll find something that's meaningful for you. That's what we hope. And so if that happens to only one person, we will have achieved our goal. And we got over 200 shows that we have put on over the past couple of years. And there's some great dialogue in those shows. Some dialogue that is really epic in terms of their depth and in terms of the wisdom that's coming forth. It's like putting a collegiate personality in the streets and coming out with the real. You know, that's what our shows represent. It comes out with the real, and it's not always good stuff. You know, sometimes people got opinions that, you know, that are just kind of, some people have some harsh opinions. We've seen a lot of them.
We still gave them good stuff.
We've seen a lot of them, right? Yeah, we gave them good stuff. So you folks continue to stay tuned and watch our show, share it with other folks. Like us, share us, subscribe. Like us, share us, subscribe. I can't ask enough. We're just trying to get the good word out. So we understand that the good Reverend Dr. Jeffrey is not with us right now or tonight as of yet. We're still hoping to get him on here, but let's go ahead and cover the topic for the week. The topic goes like this. Why do we reserve a place in our hearts for people who don't make an effort to try?
Now see, that right there, it can be very personal, depending on where you at in your levels. But talking about it is getting past personal, it's just having a better understanding. A lot of times I make room for what's not really for me. See, you got to really understand yourself, because a lot of times you want something and you putting it in and it ain't even really for you. Because if you really know you already know it don't even align.
Right.
You're grabbing something that's gonna take you totally out of alignment, but you just want it. You know, it looks good.
You just want it.
We talking, it's popping, but you ain't look at the bigger picture. You don't even align. So you making room for somebody that already see that you ain't right for them. So they're not going to make room for you.
And I wonder how many marriages and divorces have gone through that.
Now that's a whole nother show.
I mean,
we gonna talk about that one too.
Yeah, think about it now. You got a young lady. Maybe she's fine, in her 30s, right?
Fine.
Educated, she's sexy, everything, right?
Yep.
But she hasn't met Mr. Right yet. But this decent guy comes along, you know what I'm saying, with a swag that she might like. She get excited. And next thing you know, she inviting him into her world, right? Because she trying to fulfill a void. She trying to fulfill a Mr. Right void, but he not Mr. Right. He can't keep a job. You know what? He no have any inspiration. No. He come from a very, very dark home, right?
You need to go back home. You need to go back out.
Right. And so now she has made a decision to share her whole life with somebody who just doesn't fit the bill. It happens all the time. That's why I asked how many marriages and how many divorces have happened as a result of people trying to fit folk in their slot that doesn't belong. I would imagine this is a subject that probably the greatest statisticians couldn't put their fingers on.
If they can't be helping not.
Right? So, it happens all the time. We need something in our lives, and the person who comes along maybe just fills a void for you in just that time, just that season, and we take to them, but sometimes when we realize the BS, we don't let them go. And so, you know, we're still loving a person who we know are disappointing us over and over and over again. And why do we stay there? God only knows. Perhaps we should cut the ties much earlier. Perhaps we should stop caring for those people who don't seem to be caring for themselves. We should stop caring for people who don't care for us. Right? That's not a punt. That's not throwing darts at anybody in the world, but it's that we should begin saving ourselves even more for ourselves or more for Mr. and Mrs. Right. Okay?
I agree with that.
Yes, and that's not easy. It's not easy to be alone knowing that you could have went out tonight and maybe had a good time at the very least.
Shit, me. Leave alone.
You going out, Jay?
Yeah, I'm going out. Shit, me.
Okay, I'm going out too now.
Yeah, ain't no need of just sitting in. Nah, see, that's that
Yeah.
old past behavior. I need to get rid of that.
Yeah, man.
I need some of that new stuff, okay? I
There
need
you
that,
go.
that fresh.
Yes, and there's a lot of new stuff and a lot of
Right, that
fresh
new.
out
This
there.
a ladder. This
Right.
that new.
Just to spin on the subject, because we really need to compartmentalize it a little bit more.
That's a problem.
We have all gone through scenarios where our cousin, and our brother, and even our mother and father, or someone real close to us, has disappointed us.
Oh, yeah.
And we expected more from them. We wanted them to help us or support us or whatever the case may be,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't.
All right.
But we still care for them
Right. Why wouldn't we?
because we reserve a place in our heart for them.
And let
Right.
alone, you gotta understand that's
Yeah.
just a judgment call. You gotta remember, I wanted them to, so I had an expectation.
Okay?
They didn't meet that expectation. That was mine.
Okay?
I have to take ownership. Their failure was something that I thought they would do. I thought they was there. It wasn't.
They weren't.
So
Right.
did they really fail me, or did I fail an expectation I had of
No,
them?
you just changed the game with that because what you said is that.
A lot of times it's more us than them. It's just your thought. It's your way of processing.
Yeah.
And if you want to heal, you gotta understand you have to heal yourself.
Right.
That's one of the things somebody said out there, that if a man meets the right woman, he would change for that woman. I'm telling you, if the man understand himself with the right woman, he will understand why to make better change. It starts with self. It shouldn't start with somebody saying the right woman and putting the wrong vision on the wrong thing. It has to be back at you. You are the strongest person. Not be looking saying that your woman ain't. No, it starts with you.
Starts with
Her
me.
strength adds with yours. That's where it becomes a dynamic team. But with yours broken, and you expecting her just to do it, that's where the failure comes from.
Right. And that's
It
kind of
has to
lesson.
go back to.
Yeah, that's kind of lesson in I have to be the rock.
Yes,
And
the stronger rock.
yeah, that's not always the man either. Sometimes that's the woman.
Either or.
You know, I have to be the rock. I like where you're going with my expectations because when you talk about family love and you have expectations for your family, they're going to be successful. They're not going to get put in jail. They're not going to do drugs. They're not going to do this stuff, and they do it. That sometimes this is a crossroad. It's kind of a fork in the road that really never separates, if this makes sense. Versus the conflict between love versus man, that we have to separate men from the things that they do. And that's not always easy. We have to separate. You still love a man for him being a man or being a person or being a child of God, but they might do wrong. And it doesn't mean that you can't love them. This is a Christ-like principle.
All
It
right.
doesn't mean you cannot love them. You have to love people through their faults, right? And especially with a family member. You know, if your pops disappointed you, hey, you still love him, but you might not lean on him anymore for anything, right? You might not expect anything from him any else. And you know, Buddha says that's really the way to live life, is to have no expectations. No expectations and no desires equal no disappointments, right?
Right.
No disappointments. That's what he said. He said our unhappiness comes from our disappointed expectations.
Right.
So if we didn't have expectations that we could love people far enough or close enough to just love them and separate them from the things that they do in the world, we'll find that we'll start to experience pure love, or we'll start to experience unconditional love, right?
Yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with loving a person who has hurt you. There's nothing wrong with loving a person who did you wrong.
Who did this
Right.
give you a finger?
I thought he was shooting a bird at you.
Oh.
He shooting a bird at me?
Yeah.
What the hell
He
did I
got
do?
2 birds up, man.
I seen it. I seen
That's
the
what I
birds
said.
now. I'm catching them
I
all.
seen it.
What's the birds for?
Man, he got issues.
Oh, you want to hate on people who have hurt you?
On the show.
You wish them damnation and destruction? Is that what you're trying to say? They have no. If they hurt you, they have no more good in the world.
I tell you what, we gonna get back to
That's-
this figure because we got Jeffrey on the line. We're
That's-
gonna go ahead and just bring Jeffrey in at this point because somebody in the audience is being very rude.
I wanna talk
We're
about
gonna
that.
talk about that in the next episode.
Yes.
Because Buddha's in the building, Buddha acting like butt. Buddha's smelling like a mug tonight, okay? But we got this
That
person
wasn't
who's
what I was
coming on
talking
next.
about.
Yeah. We got this person coming up next. This person right here, I don't know how his day went. If his day went good, we might feel good. But if not, oh well. It's going to be some slobber knocked out your mouth tonight. Jeffrey, how you doing, big baby?
Brother Jay, Brother Crab, how's it going, fellas?
Man, it's going lovely. Lovely and more lovely, man. Always glad to have you with us. Excited about your segment tonight. Boy, you always lay it down. I mean, you really got away with words, bro. I'm just saying, it's just so special. So, we doing good, man. How are you tonight?
Oh man, the weather wasn't quite as hot. The traffic was just as bad. My granddaughter still loves me. You know what time.
Yes, sir.
Time for you to close your mouth and listen. You ask me some questions, I give you some answers from a man's point of view. Now, I got one reason for the habitually single woman and one reason for the habitually single man. You might be single, but before we get into that, here is my disclaimer. Now, we're going to talk about right now, you need to decide you. I don't want you to put your foot up in this shoe. But if it does decide you, I want you to put both feet in both shoes and walk around it because about to learn something tonight. How ladies, you go first. Ladies, some of you are single simply because you use your mouthpiece to destroy rather than to uplift and build. I want you to understand, ladies, all you know how to do is criticize and condemn, complain and confront. You don't know nothing about comforting and cooperation. You don't know nothing about partnership. You don't know nothing about getting to that next level by working intensively on the man because he's so damn independent trying to be in a relationship. Ladies, I need you to understand something. The relationship ain't all about you anyway. If you don't bring enough to the relationship to sustain you and my kinghood, you don't deserve a role out the door. It can build or it can break again. Right now in this day and age, you ain't got time for being broken because you got enough stuff out there to deal with. So what we gonna do is we gonna use that bad mouth of yours, that ratchet ass attitude, and that crazy ass disposition. See.
What? Single.
By yourself.
Now and forevermore deemed.
By yourself.
Right? Listen, a bad attitude doesn't work anywhere in the world.
Nope.
I've never seen it work. I've never seen it prosper anybody. I've never seen it help anybody get to the next level of their life.
No, it's not.
The mouthpiece can bring you down. And that's what Jeffrey's talking about. And I've met a number of people who just didn't seem to be able to talk about anything positive. And I don't know if that was just a sickness going on in their mind. They just never had anybody around them who were positive, but they just never talked about anything that made good sense, right? So we applaud you for bringing that, Brother Jeffrey. Listen, we got just a little haze over your voice tonight. I'm not sure if there's anything on your end that might make a difference, but it's just a little muffled.
All right, I'll try to project a little bit more. Is that better?
Ooh.
That is better. Just a little
Sound
better.
ain't strong, Jeffrey. Don't make it different. Get him. Oh, wait a minute.
All right, wonderful. With that said, fellas, don't think I'm letting y'all off the hook. Now you're getting the full-blown projection. Fellas, you are next. Fellas, you don't even know how, fellas, some of your asses are single because you don't know how to inspire submission in your woman. I need you to understand, you can't demand or command true submission. You can command resentment, rejection, ill will, and ill feeling, but you can't command or demand submission. Submission is something that's given to you as a gift. When you lead the way and that way is trustworthy. When you know the path and that path is noteworthy. When you're able to stand up and provide for that woman through provision of spirit, provision of essence of the physical essence, and you're also able to provide for that woman in case something pop off. Nah, this is how you are. You sitting there wondering if something pop off, if you can hide behind her, if you can borrow $40 from her, if you can glean some food from the table that she provided. Nah, fellas, that's not how it works. Protection and submission go hand in hand. If you're not protecting your woman from herself, from external enemies, and from the outside world, you don't deserve submission. In fact, your ass don't even deserve a damn date. In fact, you deserve to sit your ass at home single.
For a very long time.
Woo,
Man,
goodness, my
so you didn't have a good day at work, eh? I mean, is that your way of summing up? You had a bad day, Jeffrey? I mean, you didn't have to go there with the men. I mean, you went real light on the women tonight. I'm gonna tell you right now, you scored 2 points on me.
Listen, he talked about something that I'm not sure men are ready for, right?
What's that?
This is real big boy talk, right?
I'm down with
He
it.
said you have to inspire submission.
That's correct.
Man, do you know what goes into such a thing?
Well, you gotta remember,
I mean,
most
you know,
people demand.
Yeah,
You can't demand what you
No,
don't have control
no.
over. You don't
And-
got control, but you think you do.
Yeah, but let me tell you what, inspire submission equals respect,
Oh yes.
right? And when she respects me,
She what?
she'll follow my lead.
And she'll do what?
She'll listen to me.
She'll do what?
She'll understand my
Oh,
nature.
say it again, Crab.
She'll do things.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to tell you.
To inspire submission
Say it
is
one more
what
time.
is what great men have learned to do with their wives and their women and their men. You can't demand anything, but when you lead by example, when you lead from the front, you know,
from the front.
we also talk about men who might lead from the back. And you can't lead from the back.
No,
right?
no,
You know?
that's the caboose. You just on the ass end.
Yeah,
Get
you
passed down.
you're on the ass. and
You're on the ass end. You need to get on the front end.
Yeah.
You gotta lead that train. You gotta make that locomotive. Choo, choo.
We got Reverend J in the house. Listen, I think the point well taken, Brother Jeffrey. We love it, and for those of us who needed it, we receive it,
Yes.
and we'll hand the floor back over to you, my friend.
Yes.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, what we have to learn is how to learn and respect each other and our roles in the relationship. Now, this new modern movement that's talking about no gender roles, honestly, I'm going to tell you that is some bull. You need some men out there. You need some women out there. You need those archetypes to be lived up to faithfully and honestly. There can't be no genderless relationship. Yeah, everybody wants to be successful. Yeah, everybody wants to get it done, but you need that male man, that male there, and you need that woman there, because there are different things that we bring to the table that provide balance. Balance is the name of the game. And once we get ourselves balanced in our community, then our business owners will be able to cater to our needs, because we got a whole household of people ready to spend some money in the neighborhood, and building our neighborhoods up is key, because our children grow up in homes. And when our children grow up in homes with a mother and father, what they tend to get is a better outlook on life, healthier outcomes in school, and a more robust, rewarding view of the world at large.
Yes.
Now listen, I would say that's all I got, but I got one more thing.
Go ahead.
There is no substitute for a black man and a black woman loving on each other. Now, I'm not discriminating against anybody. Hey, you can have whatever gender binary you want and live your life however you want to. That's fine. What I will tell you is that we have achieved our greatest results when we had the intact family in the home. And I look forward to us having those types of results again very soon. And that's all I got.
Ooh.
Man, let me tell you.
Jeffrey for president.
Jeffrey for president.
You might not make it though, Jeffrey.
Man, that is so
They ain't
powerful,
ready for you,
bro.
man. You start that, they don't get it. Yeah,
Oh,
you
my.
gonna need Secret Service for real.
Oh my goodness, that's good, man. That's good. Listen, ain't nothing we can say on that. Let me just ask you. We just take a couple of minutes here and get your 40,000 foot on the topic for tonight. Why do we reserve a place in our hearts for people who don't make an effort to try?
Man, listen, we do that because we romanticize the person that we can't have, and we take for granted the person that wants us. See, the person who doesn't want us, we tend to give them extra gloss. Everything they do is so desirable because they're just beyond reach. So our imagination begins to hype them up, beautify them, or embellish who they are as an individual. When in reality, once we often obtain that person that we had lusted for and desired for so many years, we discover that they really It's a waste of time. So what we have to learn how to do, we have to learn how to appreciate the people who appreciate us instead of appreciating something through our imagination that we can't obtain anywhere, and if we got it, we wouldn't want to keep it.
I love that, man. I love that. I can't even comment. I got to take this note.
Go ahead, write that note down right there, Crab. I'm telling you right now. You shut a lot of folks up on that one.
Oh my God! Listen, man, we got to get out of here. We thank you so much for your commentary and for being with us every week. You're a great part of this show, man. Just about everybody who talks to me about the show mentions Jeffrey.
Yes.
And your commentary, so it makes a difference, man. And one day we're gonna be on a much bigger stage, and I promise you, all the cut you deserve is gonna be right there, man. No doubt. So we appreciate you. Any parting words for us, man?
Oh man, I'm looking forward to that level of abundance. When we all get there, we all get there together. I love it.
Absolutely. We love you too, my friend.
One thing I gotta say to you, Jeffrey, you need to quit your damn job. I don't know what they keep doing to you at that job, but if y'all don't quit it, I'm telling you, I'm gonna come down there and we're gonna have to have ramifications. We're gonna move some desks because I ain't that violent. I'm moving some desks.
No, listen.
What?
Don't mess with it now. You be a good host. You're a
I'm
good
a good
co-host.
host, but I'm gonna move some desks. They keep messing with my man. He keeps acting up.
Listen, and because of his stripe over there, he put together some good
He
presentations.
do, but
Right,
they
so
can't
leave
keep
him alone.
messing with him like that.
Yeah, leave him alone, man.
He
Leave him
might-
alone. Let him
man,
get on his
he might
last
stress
nerve.
out and blow up or something.
Rainy days are always his best days.
Yeah, rainy days ahead. The hell, when he get happy, I don't know what he gonna do.
All right, brother Jeffrey. We'll talk next week, man. Take care.
All right, take it easy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We
I'm
are
going
wrapping up.
LinkedIn. I'm gonna share him some resumes. Some resumes, other things.
We are wrapping up with
Make them happy.
this segment, and we hope you enjoyed the show. I'm having a lot of fun here tonight,
too.
and I hope you are too. So
This week
stay
come
tuned. We want you to, just continue to be with us tonight. The next part of the show is when Jay and I really go in.
We gonna go in.
And we don't know what we're going to grasp. We don't know what we're going to get out of the subject, but there's always some magic that comes out of these dialogues. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Talk with Jay.
We had Jeffrey come in a little bit later than normal, so we had to change up the game a little bit, but he gave it like he always do. So one of the things I want to make sure we do is get back to what we was doing. So welcome back. We're about to talk with Jay, me, and Kraft about to go in and have a little bit of fun tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Let's do it. Let's do this, Smoke Jay.
I'm gonna have me a little fun with this one real quick.
Yeah. 'Cause I hear a pattern. Go ahead, please.
I like the pattern, but go ahead and give me the topic for everybody to know what we're talking about.
Okay.
So everybody know.
Tonight we are talking, why do we reserve a place in our hearts for people who don't make an effort to stay or to try?
Now, perception is everything when it comes to this. And I had a situation, all right? I'm going to go back on my personal.
Yeah,
all right?
please,
Go back
please.
in my past, all right? And I had somebody that fired me like 5 times.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, how you get fired 5 times? Obviously, I wasn't doing a damn good job, all right? But again, when you dating,
Okay.
a lot of times everything doesn't align. Okay, because again, you're not giving everything because I'm not asking her to be wifey. She's not asking me to be husband. But as we're
Yes.
dating,
Yes,
we're
she
getting
is.
past the representative. The representative got to go, and I need to find out what I'm dealing with.
Right.
So as you start dealing with the real person, you start realizing that, ooh, we starting to run into some things.
Right.
All right? Now that right there led her to feel like, okay, I'm going to let him go. And then she came back. Because one of the things I started with was real care. All right?
Okay.
Now that went back and forth. And like I said, I got dumped several different times along the way. And again, they'd be like, well, we would just dump you. Please understand, everybody don't see everybody the same way. And that's just how life is. And perfectly, I can tell you, I ain't perfect anyway. So when I went down this path of getting fired, and she asked me, well, you know something, I fired you, but you can't say that because you still was hired, you still was there. And she was like, well, why did you even stay in the first place? I said, because even though you fired me, I looked at what you did with the rest of you people in your family. You never fired your child, you never fired your family. You stayed there.
Yeah.
You let me
That's
go
good.
because again,
That's
I went against some of your beliefs and what you felt like I should be. But the bottom line, you still held on to me
Yes.
to a point. But I really looked at your actions towards everybody else. because I'm trying to learn you. Can you align with me to make me feel like I don't want to fire you? You can fire me all day long. That don't mean you're going to leave me.
Right.
There's a whole lot of jobs ain't for you.
Right.
But when you align with somebody, they'll find a way to get back to you.
Yes.
Because you're already on the move. You're
Yes.
doing something. I told you it started with you.
So let me ask you this question. That's a familiar story. That's a familiar story.
I told you before. So.
No, people get back together, break up, get back together all the time, right?
I ain't say
So-
I didn't want to say like I just keep going back. I mean, she fired my ass.
No.
I ain't go back. I got thrown to the curb.
I know.
She put me out the pastor.
Yeah, but
Oh, my bad. Keep going.
you know you was creating that scenario.
You know
every
something.
time,
You know
right?
you started to snitch. Now we did not rehearse this shit. Stop it, crap.
I mean, listen, she ain't fired you for no reason. She ain't just woke up and said, "Let me fire Jay." It was some bullshit that happened, and
You know
that's it.
something?
She got a hold of it, and she said, "I'm gonna get rid
Have
of
you
it."
tried this new drink that our bartender said? Because you really need a Snicker right about now. You Marsha.
I think it's a perfect story for what we are trying to achieve here tonight. It's a
Yes.
perfect story, right?
Okay.
So she fired you, but she still got a special place for you in her heart. And that's why she keep coming back, whether you want to come back or not. If she comes into your world, you obviously like her, love her enough that you keep accepting her back too, right?
No.
I imagine that.
Crap, you said accept her back. She fired me. I never quit her.
You never quit her.
She quit
I like
me.
that, Jay.
I never quit her.
So she had a special place in your heart too.
She had a special place, and she was saying she wanted something, and she thought that would make me be a different person. Okay, even she did that. It ain't gonna make me change me. It's gonna make me be even stronger. I ain't giving up on you. I see that you can carry. You can carry some loads, but my thing is, I just don't bow down. It doesn't. As a man, when you realize where you at,
Right.
you will realize you're not giving up. You're about to change up.
Right.
It is where I am going here, and I'm not going down to get to no one.
Right.
You're going to rise up with me.
Right.
To be with me, you got to align with me, and we're going to roll together.
I like that.
So you think one going to go, no, that doesn't happen with me. You can do it with somebody else, and you probably had great results. Love that for you.
Right.
It don't work for me.
Right.
My whole thing is, that ain't elevating. That's not. A lot of times, your personal decisions of what you want is personal.
Okay, let me break this down just a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
I'm listening.
I'm not trying to snitch here.
Yeah, I thought you was.
No, I'm just trying to
You
understand.
was real
right?
damn close
So,
to snitching.
What you basically said was
Mhm.
she really want to get married. She really want to have you in her life forever, and you keep acting up, and so she keep having to give up on the idea of having you forever. So she fire you, knowing that she still love you and still wants you in her life. And so the question becomes, how long does that go on? How much time do you put into that?
It doesn't go on forever. What it is you got to make sure it's a total alignment. You just don't cave in because that's what they're doing, and something. I'm going to make them happy. That's why people are married unhappily now.
Right.
You have to have that resolve to understand you. If there's something in you that you need to get
Okay.
out, you need to start
Okay.
resolving it and getting it out, but not sitting back.
So watch this.
It's like,
You can see very clearly that she's on a one-way train to nowhere.
you know something? You can say she's on
so
one-way
caring
train.
caring for her, right? But you're really, if she got a special place in your heart, you're kind of obligated to cut the tie and let her find her dream come true.
First of all, she cut the tie. What the hell you talking? I got five ties. She cut the tie, bro.
Listen, you can't get 5 more than once without giving in.
What you talking about? No, she didn't hand me the separation paper. I was trying to get unemployment.
I don't care what you say.
I deserve something.
If you got
I
back
spent a lot of
together,
time.
if you got back together, right, then you know what I'm saying. You
Being honest with you,
in it as
Crab,
much as she is.
she fired me because again things didn't happen in the time frame that she thought it should.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
But
Now hold on. The thing you gotta realize is it's not about you say let go. And I'm gonna tell you about letting something go. When somebody is in your life and they give value to your life, watch when you say just let go because it don't fit a timeline. Because
Okay,
that's something that you need to recognize because now you're starting to get worldly and you need to realize everything is not going to be on your timeline. But when something is aiding you and helping you and not destroying you and bringing you down, watch how you want to sever.
yeah.
Because my whole thing, she broke up, she didn't sever. The reason she didn't completely sever, because I'm still pumping inspiration into her. Why would I give up pushing positive thing into a person I care for as well?
Yes.
She might have thought she broke up with me.
Right.
I never severed the tie,
Yeah.
and I kept pushing, and because again, I don't know where this is gonna land.
Right.
But I'm not gonna give up on the person I care for.
Right.
She ain't give up on her family. She ain't give up on her child. She ain't give up on nothing. She gave up on me because I didn't fit a timeline.
Right.
That ain't a real cut to me.
Yeah.
That just shows me she's a strong woman. I'm good with that because I'm a damn strong man.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna be broken
Yeah.
or being, like I said, just temporarily swayed because of a feeling.
Yeah. And so let me just see if I can dive into this just a
Feel
little
free,
bit
man.
more because I
don't hear getting
I mentioned earlier that I see a pattern.
Okay, we got back.
And the pattern is that we are constantly, throughout our entire lives, romanticizing love. And we never meeting Mr. Right. We never meeting Mrs. Right. We never seem to get that thing that we're looking for. And so we're walking through life romanticizing something that probably isn't real, isn't true, isn't good for you. And it's all of us. It's all of us. We're all romantic. Like, and it doesn't just work for relationships. It even works for you mess around and go and get you a S-Body 560, 663, and whatever it is. Go get you one of them, right?
Okay, where that go?
Yeah, you know.
I ain't got nothing to do with me sexually.
No.
Oh, you
I'm
trying to say you gonna
change the
give me
subject.
something?
No, I'm trying to change the
Oh
subject.
my bad. Oh my bad. I thought you was trying to help me. I mean, you had my mind somewhere.
You helping me forget what I was talking
But
about.
hell,
right
you
now.
helped me too. Shit. You threw a card. I thought you was R. Kelly. And you remind me of a G. I'm like, what the hell?
So what I'm talking about is romanticizing ideas. You go and buy that big nice house, and it just ain't what you thought it was going to be. It's
Crap.
not. It doesn't fulfill
Crap.
you to have that big
Crap.
nice house, and it necessarily doesn't fulfill you.
Man, I bought this big ass house because my ex-wife told me she was gonna do me in every room. I said, you know how many rooms in this damn house? Hell yeah, I bought it. No, it was a failed contract.
I'm gonna let you.
Do we need to go into
I'm
contract?
gonna let you finish this topic. I can't do no harm, man.
I'm just trying to say, sometimes we get shafted. You gotta hire other people to hire.
That's what I'm talking about. We romanticize some bullshit, right?
Didn't I just help you?
Right?
I fantasized.
Listen.
I got shafted.
You are gonna get shafted if you dream about something that ain't real.
She told me I thought it was a good idea.
You are setting yourself up for a disappointment.
It was a huge
If you
one.
think this
I
cute,
wasn't even halfway through. She let me know.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen with me. That is not what was promised. I had to go back into dialogue. You said you was gonna do this, Debbie. You didn't even make it through the basement.
you ain't even warm yet. You could have wrote me a note or something before I tied 3 years into your black ass.
She was like, get over it. No. It's a broken promise. No. You know what this house costs? Shit, I got the taxes on these. She might not know she ain't paid it. I paid a whole lot for. Listen, I could have. Man, folding desk was $70. If she only knew when I found out I overpaid.
I know you're making fun, but here go the reality of the
Shit, the
situation.
hell was fun. We talking money.
We talking about all these relationships
That cost me a lot of money.
that never ended up in engagement and marriage. Somebody saw something along the way.
Anybody saw that person for $70 saw it. And she didn't see it, she felt it. It was a hell of a lot cheaper. I'm looking at my bank account now.
Jesus. Why didn't you warn me?
That was not what I was expecting.
Why didn't you help me, Lord?
Put hands on my check.
I got a question for you, Lord. Can you get back the other half of my shit?
Before the pearly gates got hit, you gotta get half on it. I got 5 on it. I'm telling you, man, it can get dark out there. It can get dark though. It ain't
I don't
always
know where we going right now. Maybe time for
going to
another
hell.
break.
But I'm telling you, I'm at least telling on the upfront.
Hey, as funny as this is, this is about chasing false expectations,
Yes.
right? This is all about chasing false expectations, chasing something that is not designed for you.
That's right.
I love how the two just tie together all this humor.
Because you had to keep him crying. Like, this shit happened for real. It happened. It happened. It's just, you have to learn to grow. Situations happen all the time, and one of the things that I liked about the topic is, you made a space in your heart, and you be like, why would you do that for a person that's not there? You gotta understand, I made that space because of me. When I make that space because of me, no matter the fact that she feel it or not, I made it because I was already strong.
Right.
That space already was in a protection mode. So I already grew to what it could be. Now the problem is, a lot of times you try to put something in and you have nothing to put in on. You have no real substance.
Right.
Okay? So then you wonder why you can't keep what you got, because you got to understand you. But when you understand you just don't cave in and give in to anything. They will understand you better.
Right.
And that's why I say you get past representative, and then guess what? That's why 5 times of being quit, she didn't quit either, because again, it keeps going for a reason. They start understanding you're not the same person. You're not what they dated. You do things off of your past. You judge things off of you. And you start being judgmental. But when you get somebody like me, you might not be quick to want to judge me, because I'm not going to come like you think I'm going to come. I'm cut from a different piece that you ain't used to. So when you deal with me, you're going to start seeing that I don't anger quickly. Some of the things that you do don't bother me, but it doesn't mean that I don't care for you. It is not for me. So when I don't really mold what you used to grab and I can shape you by doing this, and I'm all over the place, because you ain't meant to shape me. I've been shaped before you grabbed me. You grabbed onto a vessel that was not to be shaped. I was already there. You ain't used to that, because you used to making somebody into something. That's why somebody want to build a bear. You can't build this.
You can't build this.
This was already there. So when I'm spinning around and you thinking you gonna shape this, that's why you're mad.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna damn happen.
Yeah.
So guess what? Now it's opposition. Yeah. But the bottom line, even when you quit, you go back and that substance that you grabbed showed you something different.
Yeah.
You should always add encouragement to anybody you with.
Yeah.
That way when you go your own way and you get mad, it ain't even the same.
Yeah, and if I would paraphrase it, you basically said, don't give up on me because I don't give you what you want. Right?
But I might be giving you what you need.
Don't lose that special place in your heart because I didn't give you what you want. If it's truly special, then I'll be able to fill that space. And you
say it again, Craig. Say it again. Right? You come on back.
Listen. I was trying to get to a point, and I'd love to cover more of it in our last segment. Chasing dreams.
Okay.
That's a big issue, man. Chasing dreams. We're getting our heart and emotions and all our being tied up into things that again aren't real, and I think we need to spend a little more time on that subject.
No, I want to go back, because even one of the things you used to tell me, that's one of the things I always love about you. You say Mrs. Kraft. You speak of her as, again, Mrs. Kraft, because again, you knew Mrs. Kraft when you met her in the club.
Right.
I remember these stories, but you got to go back and listen to the other shows to find out what I'm talking about. So I ain't gonna go back in that dialogue, because I want you to listen to the shows. But one of the things I want to say is you brung that up and you seen it. So you had a thought of what she could be.
Yes. I mean, I have a clear vision.
There you go. With that clear vision, it helps you when you start meeting people to save you time.
Save you time. Yes.
And to me, it ain't always, a lot of people say, well, he just being judgmental. If I know me and I know what I am, I know what's going to love me, and I know enough about me. And that way I can see what aligns with me.
Yeah.
So again, that's where I say you have to love yourself, because a person need to align with you. Y'all say just love you. Guess what? Everybody ain't gonna love your behind.
Right.
All right, everybody ain't gonna like you.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that I'm not in relationship with at all, but we align. And we're going great places because we have a relationship that's not based on sexual. Everything is not gonna align that direction.
Yeah.
But you need to know where the hell you're going so you can help people align. That way, when they start talking certain ways, you going to do this. I don't fold because it ain't for me to fold.
Right.
We might not ever be that, but we can be a whole lot more if you understand me. At that point, we can still be a dominant force. But please understand, it's a respect level to this game. And you won't always see it because you always caught up in self. When you're in a relationship, you gotta be unselfish, being honest with you, because you're giving up a piece of self. It gets lost in there, and I understand it. But it's not me saying nothing more to anybody that I'm encouraging. I got encouraged. My mom pushed a lot in me to make sure I push a lot in other people. For I can make sure I leave a legacy on this earth of what I'm doing to surpass me that was given to me. It was a blessing to me. And I want to pass it on to somebody else so anybody I dated can still say that they enjoyed me, even though they might not be with me. And that's not true to most relationships.
That's a great way to summarize a special place in your heart. You know what I mean? To reserve a place in your heart for somebody who you never had a certain type of relationship with doesn't mean you can't carry that person around in your heart, you know? I met some people on planes before who I had wonderful dialogue with, and
You
got to know them.
go to the bathroom with me. You know, Mile High Club. You know, you
Nah, man, no, we just talking.
Oh, yeah, I was asking. You know, 'cause if you did, you got pictures? You got pictures? You Bar Talk with Jay there after hours.
Y'all folks, hold on. We turning this stuff around. This is a spin-off. It's time for us to take another break. And again, we hope you're enjoying the show. Y'all stay tuned. Jay and I are going to come back and wrap up this show just like we do.
I got to do a special guest thing.
Okay.
My bartender's going to do something nice and we're going to play no music. One of the things I'm going to do right now is going to bring her Russia. This is the one that's going to make drinks for you tonight. She going to say her own name. She got her own mic. She better put that mic up to her mouth. She's going to talk tonight. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to bring her on. One of the things we're trying to do is just pour it out. I'm not just pushing alcohol, and I always want somebody to drink responsibly and safe, okay? But one of the things I'm saying is we are pouring things out. We're making you comfortable. I'm not saying you have to drink to be comfortable. You can drink orange juice, water, you can drink whatever you like. My man Craftmatic drinks healthy drinks for a long time. I drink a little bit of beer, but the bottom line, we're gonna drink responsibly, and we wanna make sure you understand we about you. So pour it out with us, and I'm gonna make a special drink tonight. And this is what happens if you go to a Bar Talk with Jay. If you get selected to come on into the studio, you get to taste exactly what she did. So it's not about us tasting and saying something like, ooh, it tastes good. And then I got to cuss out at the end of the show. Be like, that shit nasty. We do real taste sampling here. And one of the things you got to be over 21. And again, this is on
their lot in life, you know, kind of what they were born and designed to do, was to just take a lot of mishaps in their relationships. Like they try to seek love for years and years and years and years, and what you're saying is that they just, you know, they just are getting taught. They're getting taught by the Lord on some things that they don't need, and they're forced to develop restraint and hold back. I'm not sure, you know, I necessarily agree with that.
I don't want you to agree with me.
Yeah. You know,
I don't see everybody. I want you to disagree with me in my life.
Yeah, I'm just making case in point that it is not necessarily that that you did something wrong in your life or whatever that you continue to have these mishaps. What we are saying tonight is that you potentially are romanticizing the wrong people or the wrong things in an effort to be happy.
Right, but
right?
Do I know that? See, that's what I'm saying. And I agree with you totally.
But listen,
because I didn't always know.
Yeah, it takes some common sense. The only way I can say to get to the mentality that you need to be when you meet a person is you got to pray over them. That's the only way to get to all of the answer, right? Lord, this person's for me, bring them closer. This person's not for me, take them far away. Give me some understanding, some wisdom, and let me know what I'm dealing with. Take off the mask, take off the cape, take off the nonsense, and let me see the real person here so I can make a clear decision whether they need to be in my life. That's the only way you're going to get to that whole and truth. You're not going to be able to, because people are together for 30 years and still don't know each other, right?
Now,
right?
I agree with you, but if you like me and you're a little different, I throw about $60 on the dresser stand, right? Okay. Because at that point, it changed the whole game. Now this don't work for everyone, but you gotta understand prices. There's different ways to look at things, crap. So again, this way right here might not be okay.
Listen, let's talk. I wanted to cover it real quickly.
It's different, Grabs. It's different.
Chasing dreams.
You never did
man.
that. Is that way to chase? I'm trying to control costs.
Let's not talk about costs.
God no.
You on the budget?
Yeah, I'm trying to cut costs.
Yeah,
You know they can get ridiculous. You
Yeah.
start throwing out numbers and be like,
They can get ridiculous.
I don't know where you got that from.
Yeah.
But from what I smelled, that ain't worth that. That should be free with penicillin.
And I say that on the show.
Oh, my bad. That what I just said.
Can't say that.
This
Okay.
way has to be excluded.
So
For other
let's throw relationships and love and all that stuff out the door, man. What
Okay.
would you say to somebody who you believe is chasing a dream?
Now, you gotta understand when it comes to chasing your dream, crap. I have fun. And again, I know a lot of people like, why are you joking? Because it can be very harsh when you start looking at how you looking at somebody in interpretation. Like I said, getting fired 5 times is kind of hard. But the bottom line is understanding how I went through it was the lesson. That person is a blessing. And that's how I look at people. Who's ever in my life is a blessing.
Yeah.
But what I would back up and say to you is, you know, you gotta get away from you. When I really care for a person, I stop looking just at me, I start looking at them. You got to realize that I have to get off a high horse because again, I had to build me up to understand someone else.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I have to ignore them.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk about love and relationships. I'm talking about someone who's chasing dreams outside of love. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you want to be an engineer, you want to be a rapper, you want to be a business owner, you want to be, but
now I love this one.
Right? They're chasing something that they may not have the potential to get to achieve.
Might not, but guess what? What I love about they have a dream and they have the ambition, and you have the fortitude.
Okay.
When you start getting to the fortitude and you start understanding Google and understanding that you can look a lot of things up and start learning.
Yes.
That it takes you to that next level because the bottom line, it starts with a dream. It starts with your mind. What it takes from your mind is somebody else saying you can't. You ain't intelligent enough. You didn't go to school for it. All of them are dream killers. The best person to make you successful is you. They said something about Steve Harvey doing something for the billionaires, and Steve said, I ain't a billionaire, but you came from nothing.
Right.
A billionaire is willing to hear from you.
Right.
That's what makes me understand encouragement. Because you don't always come from something. You ain't always have to have an inheritance to realize you have an anointing.
Anointing, I like that.
That means I can make change to others.
Right.
It's up to you.
Right.
Now you want to wait for somebody else. Why? It was given to you. But it's up to you to take your anointing, which means you have to take that understanding of you. That's why most people are scared to do it of that nature. They're like, nah, I like being worldly. I like dealing with worldly and understanding of your gift is two different things.
Yeah, and what that brings me to is that faith without works is dead.
Boom!
Your dream without hard work is nothingness. And that's what I'm talking about, chasing dreams. You trying to be X, Y, and Z. You trying to be paid on a certain level. A lot of folks who are chasing money and they're chasing fame and they're chasing, lifestyle and they're chasing this perception of prosperity that we all have, but they're not putting in any work.
Right.
And if you are married and you are one of those folks, your spouse can see that you are not going hard at this thing you call your dream. And now, when you start to put money in, when you want to put time in, she has no more faith because she's seeing you put the work in. You got these big dreams, but you want to go spend $1,000 on a trip, and you ain't even made your first product at home yet, right? So, yeah, and this is kind of what I want to get to in the subject that faith without works is dead. If you have a dream and you are going to be a dream chaser, it is going to require a great deal of work. And here's the part that ties into the subject, that you have this great dream and you're spending money and time on it, that you're going to need a support group. And there are people like your mother, for example, or your aunt, who really believes in you achieving that goal. And they have a very special place in their heart when you talk about achieving their goal. They might lend you money, they might come to your shows, they might listen to your demos, they might read your book, they might do any of those things. But that special place is going to be based on what they see in you. And I don't want to get too deep here, but the people around us can see whether we're working hard toward these goals and objectives. And when we need help or support, that they're not going to give it to us if they haven't seen the works. They lose the special place in their heart for our goals and dreams when they don't see us putting in work. In other words, kind of the message is, don't talk about it if you ain't going to be about it. Don't talk about it if you ain't going to be about it. And there are many people who will become victims of prestige through their message. You know, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and they got a lot of mouth, they got a lot of words. You never see them go anywhere. You don't even see any of their products, you know. But yet, you know, they've talked themselves into this big dream, and all they're doing is just setting themselves up for a deep failure, right? Going back to romanticizing some shit that ain't real, right? It ties right back into the subject. We gotta stop fooling ourselves. If this person in front of you is not Mr. or Mrs. Right, you need to decide that. And it's not to say that you throw them to the curve, but you gotta determine if they're gonna be in your life and at what level they're going to be in your life. Because having a special place in your heart for someone leaves you vulnerable. Right? And that vulnerability could get you hurt in some cases, but it's just important that we protect those special places that we have in other people's hearts. That's kind of what I want to say.
And I agree with you. One of the reasons I play around and I make this $70 and all the rest of that was for fun and games about some behaviors that happen. One of the things I want to say is I'm not trying to condone all them actions. What I'm trying to tell somebody is what you trying to sell might not have the value of what you selling. Because my whole thing is what you call yourself selling, I might not be really interested in. Because what I really need from you is deeper than what you're trying to think it is.
Right.
It can be on a sexual note where you feel like that's what wins everything, and that's what's popping right now. And one of the things I can tell you, you have more to give a person than what you think you offer the person. That is a small piece compared to when I deal with great people. A lot of great women in my life has never slept.
Bullshit.
Have you ever seen somebody sneeze purposely? Oh my God! Listen, I'm glad there ain't no poly tips hooked to my point. Anyway, I'm going back. I was.
Was that the Lord caught me in my
No, it wasn't. I'm not calling on the Lord on that one.
Bullshit!
All I can say is Buddha and bully is being a bully. So one of the things I'm going to tell you is some of the greatest people did not. And I say it again, regardless of the shit they're saying, they did not. And it doesn't take away from the fact of what I learned.
Right.
Everybody that you meet might not go there with you.
Yeah.
And they still have value with you. Their whole thing is, some people can see things other than what you see. My vision can be tainted. Theirs can be very clear.
Yeah.
You gotta understand them just like where they're at, just like you always be stubborn and not willing to do that. And I'm telling you, you will stay stuck. When I'm telling you, there's a lot of great people that's gonna come in your life that does not touch you in a sexual manner. They can take you in great places. I have people in my life that I promise you that did not happen, but if I asked them for anything, they happened.
Yes, and that's
So,
a great point
And
to
you'd be
make.
like, why? because they see the soul in you. They see things for you. I got Crazy in the building. Crazy will tell you, and everybody know Crazy, but Crazy will tell you. She know the integrity of what I try to do.
Yeah, and listen, I just want to make this point that is about salvaging good people and saving good people. Put a special place. Reserve a place in your heart for good people.
She like super glue. She just stuck to me. I don't know how that happened.
As you pass people throughout life, there's only going to be a handful that become brotherly close.
That's true.
But there are still a ton more that come through that are good people, and who, not necessarily you're going to lean on everybody in your past for help or some sort, but just having that special place in your heart for them, might be an open door to help you get something you may need down the road. But people don't always have to be in your interpersonal world to have a space in your heart. I've got ex-employers, I've got ex-business partners, and some of those things didn't end well, right? But I love the people who they were. They had to do their job, I had to do my job, or maybe I had to move on to my destiny. But they are still good people, and I'm friends with many of them on Facebook. A lot of ex-bosses and ex-co-workers.
Can't stand it. They were right.
Yeah, think about it this way: you're a kid, right? And you have a fight with somebody, another kid down the street.
That's still what the kid is.
Yeah, but later on, that kid becomes your best friend, right?
No, I wanted to find a good day to whip his behind again.
The special place that you have in your heart is because it was way beyond the fight. That the kid, he grew up down the street, y'all mom used to go to bingo together, or whatever the case may be, that you still somehow became friends. I have great love and respect for many of the people that I grew up with. Many of them have special places in the heart, and many of them taught me lessons that I never shared with them. They taught me. If it's something about how you carry yourself, or maybe seeing how a lady carries themselves versus how the other women carry themselves, I got something from many of those people. And so cherish the ones you're with, and cherish those who pass by you, but they may not be in your inner world. I don't know what value that's going to add to people that do that. I think that it could potentially open more doors. It could potentially make you more of a loving person, because I promise you, we're not just doing something here on earth. We're being watched over, and when you do righteousness, you get righteousness. And so there could be some great karma that come back from just learning to cherish people. God created us all, and so if you cherish people, then you are cherishing what God has made. And that might be a great way to kind of wrap up this subject.
I don't know, man. It sounds like feel like a good Groupon commercial. I feel like this is a good Groupon. I was make a hell of a sale. We're going to put Groupon in it.
Man,
so y'all need to go ahead.
Don't you want to talk about love? There's nobody talking about real love.
I mean, nobody talking about Groupon either, but they can make a great savings. Like Geico,
fantasies about real love. And real love is unconditional love. It's Christ-like love with every person you meet. And to know that they may not have what you want or anything you like, but not only can you respect them, you can respect where they came from. They have a mother, and they got a brother, and they got a sister, and the mother and brother and sister cares about them, and they can see. You have to be a little more vested in this world in people, because if you start throwing away people, you're going to find that people are going to start throwing you away. And that's a hard lesson to learn when you end up in a place by yourself and lonely and broke and tired and frustrated, and you got nobody to lean on. And I got hundreds upon hundreds of people I can call right now. Hundreds upon hundreds of people who value me and value my opinion because of how I left it 20 years ago. Because of how I dealt with it back then. And I didn't. Yeah, and I wasn't always doing what I did for me. Sometimes I did it just to salvage what might be left of the relationship, right?
I don't know about that. You gotta teach me that one.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, you don't build a mountain on just steps.
I came back.
You know what I'm saying? Mountain ain't built up just steps. You know what I mean?
I move
Mountains.
people.
Yeah, I'm talking about good relationships.
I move people, and then the people make the mountain look like a mountain. That's real.
Yeah, it's about time, man. It's about that time.
I know.
How would you summarize this, man?
One of the things I would say to summarize is really you got to get back in tune with you. It goes back to you. One of the things I can tell you, if you're going to motivate somebody, you motivate them by you. So one of the things I'm telling you when it comes to relationships and why I got fired 5 times and still was around is the motivation I gave that person and they seen in me. Now, I didn't give up on them because I was motivated to do more than what they seen. You trying to live for them, you will never complete you. And that's one of the things that I'm really saying for strong people to stand up and understand. You have a mission. If you getting pulled to the side, you might not complete your mission. That's up to you. Buddha said something when he threw his finger in it. Everything ain't for you. But that don't mean that they don't rock with you. They don't always have to agree with you. But that don't mean you're supposed to stop anything.
Right.
You are to learn that everybody's different. I don't supposed to convince Buddha to be me. Buddha don't convince me to be him.
Right.
But if you be the best you, Buddha will walk away with a smile, even though he didn't get an agreement.
Absolutely.
You can agree to disagree, but an understanding makes you more whole and complete. It doesn't take you to make a woman to go to bed mad. It makes you to get to a point where she can have a better understanding. The madness is emotion. I want to get to her soul. If she understands me, she can grow with me, we can align. If she mad at me, it's an emotion. That can change. Too many things are changing off emotions and not us. I want to be better us than what we were.
There you go.
So that's a learning tool, right?
There you go. There
So
you go.
I want to learn together, and that's what you bring, the spirituality, because again, I'm selfish. But with you, I learn to be more understanding that your way ain't the only way.
Yeah.
Your vision ain't the only vision. So now I can be a better person by knowing I'm looked at in a different way, and I have to speak in a better way
There you go.
than where I was.
And see, so tonight, folks, we've been talking about reserving a place in our hearts for people. And I challenge you to reserve a place in your heart for every person in your path. That person was not put there by osmosis or some random set of events. That person was divinely placed in your path. And when you see someone begging for money, or when you see a little old lady who needs help with her groceries to the car, or when you see any number of things in the world, you are to pour yourself into
That's
people
right.
and into the world.
Put their ass in the back of your car and put them in your backyard and put their ass to work.
Yeah, you talking about me?
I'm talking about, I'm tired of just giving money. No, next person I see with a sign, and I'm driving that big
But
truck,
listen.
oh, you getting in that truck, you going to
But
work.
listen, your giving is not about them.
No, it's not.
Your
It's
giving
about
is
me making
about-
some money off of them.
Your giving is about you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we have to continue to pour out. It's not about
Right.
them. It's about us.
It's about us.
doing our part.
Me
you know?
trying to make some money off of
And of
them.
course, reserving a place in your heart for loved ones. Never hate. Never to be disgusted with someone in your past. They brought you to the place that you are, and they gave you some lessons that you otherwise could not have been exposed to. Love them even through the painful times and things and stuff, because it's all temporary.
That's
You know,
right.
it's temporary stuff, and when you get over the problem or the issue that you had, you'll find that they were still the same person that you fell in love with many years ago, whether that be a family member, friend, or a loved one from the past. They all brought something good to your life. So that special place in your heart is meant for special people.
That's right.
Take the time to know people, and you'll find something special about every person. I
Yeah.
promise you. And so this has been Bar Talk with Jay.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a more fitting topic to talk about than what we discussed tonight. Why do we reserve a place in our hearts for people who don't make an effort to try? And that means just Christ-like love, loving people through their faults. Let love be the seat of your soul, and let it take over the seat of your soul, and you'll find that all your actions and all your thoughts
That's right.
will be designed to be loving and loving like God.
And the only thing I can say is raindrops will fall. Nice like this. This is the Eddie Kane moment. You okay. No, I'm gonna tell you, some people can fall off, and some people can still have it. Don't judge because of people's past behaviors to think that's all they gotta stay. One of the things I said with the 5 heartbeats, again with Eddie Kane, you get right. Night like this might not have to be your last night. You can make change, just understanding what you're going through and what you did. but you can still make amends. Understand you.
There you go.
Power is in you, understanding you. That's the gift that was given. I just want you to get back to your gift.
There you go. And this has been Bar Talk with Jay. We thank you folks for being with us tonight. We are Thursday, Facebook Live on Bar Talk with Jay, and from 7 to 9 every week. We'd love for you to come out, listen to the show. If you don't catch it live, it's always posted on the site afterwards.
Keep going.
We love you folks. We thank you for listening and for being a part of this great message that we're trying to share. Continue to share and like us and subscribe.
Share.
And y'all come back and see us next week.
And don't save.
We'll talk to you more next week.
Just keep.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.